What's up, guys, and welcome to another video of DevTalks with your host Travian, where we talk about everything engineering technology wise. In this video, we're actually going to be diving into some AI news that has been causing a ruckus all over these different news stations and everything. So, without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and let's dive right in.
The so-called AI slop all over the internet these days
Angela Carter here live
is getting less sloppy.
Disaster. Just kidding. I'm not real.
With hyper-realistic AI-generated sham news clips circulating, often presented as a joke.
Dana Brooks reporting live from Ocean View.
But what's becoming not so funny, how easily reality can be confused with the fakes.
White House unveils plan to train bald eagles as patriotic aerial surveillance units.
Can you tell the difference?
Well, President Trump meets today with another global leader as his administration promises more trade deals.
The one on the left is AI generated, while the right is real. The launch of Google's VO3 earlier this year shocking users and the industry with how realistic the model is, plus how it can be paired with audio generation.
Reporting live from Clearwater Beach, where an unidentified.
And as the lines blur, the AI clips of fake reports or newsworthy events that never happened, even reaching the Oval Office. With President Trump posting this provocative AI-generated video of former President Obama being arrested at the White House. In many ways, it's an obvious example of misinformation or parody, easily debunked. But what happens when it's not so obvious?
So, the crazy thing about that whole Trump and Obama thing right there is I try to create thumbnails sometimes using AI. Like, it's easier, you get your own edited image that no one else has. No one can say you stole it from them. And other things like that. It's just easier to make thumbnails and get samples, thumbnails, and everything. And I use Gemini, and it's crazy because they're talking about VO here. But the thing that I'm really concerned about that I think is actually crazy is one time I tried to generate a thumbnail with Teslas and Elon, right? And the problem was that the AI wouldn't allow me to generate an image of Elon when I was trying to. So I figured, hey, it won't let you, notable people or real people, it's not going to let you generate any type of images about them potentially. But I've seen like people do it before, and I was trying to figure out how some people like figure that all out and everything. But VO might be in a different case. Like, you might be able to upload images of people and everything, and maybe it's just a thing where like, hey, it doesn't know what to edit based off their name. It's not going to just pull out anything. It's a lot harder to do, so you have to give it as an example of who the person is, who knows. But this is one of the things I've always talked about, where people's likelinesses are going to be taken out of context and everything, and there needs to be some type of there's going to be some type of regulation. Not that there needs to be, there's going to be one, because it's going to come to a point where so many people are, no matter if it's funny, for jokes, people are going to try to criminally use something against somebody, and it's edited or it's AI generated, and there's going to become there's a lot of problems that are going to come out of things like this and using people's likenesses, especially without permission, where it's going to start this whole snowballing effect. And I'm curious on how they're going to regulate it, especially with this new Kids Act in place and the potential of Real ID, which we're going to be covering a video of that really soon as well. But yeah, I think it's just a lot that could potentially happen to like everyone out here. It's not one person or another, it's anybody. It can happen to anybody. And really the only way that some people would not know if a news thing is real or not is if you consistently watch the news, which how many people actually watch the news nowadays? It's still a good amount, but I'm saying like more people now find all of their information off of social media and whatnot. So unless you recognize people's faces exactly, and hopefully their faces aren't AI either, you can pretty much give out any type of misinformation from a person's mouth or anything like that with just a few clicks of a button and a simplified prompt. It's not hard to do at all. And it's crazy that they've gotten to this point. And I guess they're going to dive into more things that are harder to differentiate between real versus fake.
Used to say that seeing is believing, and that's no longer the case.
It's making life hard for Emmanuelle Saliba, a content verification expert and a former NBC News reporter. She says the tech is getting so advanced, the fake videos are routinely being spread across the world and reported as fact.
During that gap between an event happening and authorities or media having any sort of confirmation, that's where we're seeing all of this AI generated content start to spread. And before it's debunked, before it's verified, it's gaining millions of views.
The phenomenon, also known as synthetic media. We wanted to see how easy it was to create, so we gave Google's VO3 a try.
Well, the prompt says, generate a realistic TV news reporter stand-up. NBC News correspondent Emily Ketta standing in a snowbank with snowy trees behind her.
We fed the program a short prompt meant to recreate a real report I did back in 2023.
All right, so now we will generate.
On our first try, with about a minute of processing.
Oh. Should we give it a listen?
This is an area used to winter weather, but as you can see in the drooping tree branches, this colossal storm dropped heavy snow.
The landscape is so good and the quality is so good, like down to the detail of the hat. You can kind of see flurries.
It doesn't really look or sound like me, and the text at the bottom of the screen is gibberish, a telltale sign of AI. But watch how the AI reporter gestures, the hat, coat, even the...
That is the one thing that in photo and video AI has not figured out yet. It's for some reason in AI it comes up with this. It's because it's not English. It's real to us. It's gibberish. Who knows what it is to them? And AI sakes, who knows what it is or what it's meant to say and things like that to whatever extreme. They have a real huge problem with the text in videos and in images right now. That is such a real thing, because I generated a thumbnail for Netflix and the profile names are gibberish. If you find that video, it's a pretty recent video. It'll probably come out a week before this one. It's a real thing. Like, if you really pay attention real close to the thumbnail and everything, you look at the people's names and you'd be like, what is that? It's a problem in their system. And I wonder if anybody who's been developing this kind of stuff has realized this problem or this issue per se. Like, I'm actually really curious to know if they actually know this exists, if they don't. But that's a one tell that you can easily tell that something's AI. She says this doesn't look like her. It's pretty close. It gestures pretty well as far as something that's being generated, and I bet you it can get even better to looking like her if it had some kind of references of what she actually looked like, or if she had more images out there in the space for the public eyes to see and everything in that regard.
NBC patch on the shoulder, and side by side with the real thing.
This is an area that is used to winter weather, but as you can see in the drooping tree branches, this colossal storm dropped heavy snow.
The slow zoom out. It's incredibly similar to the actual camera movement.
We tried altering the prompt to make it look more like me, but those attempts were blocked, with Google alerting it, quote, might violate our policies about generating.
That's exactly what I was talking about earlier in this video. I didn't even see this part, but that's exactly what I was talking about generating prominent people. It gets close. So how did those people generate the thing between Barack Obama and Trump? They had to have given it some type of reference to an extent for them to look that closely. Obviously, the Trump person didn't look exactly like him in that video, but the Barack one looked pretty close from just glancing at that video really quick. I wonder how they're prompting it to be able to bypass this prominent person thing, because it didn't allow me to do that for just a thumbnail. So good thing that it's on a VO aspect as well too. I didn't know, but now we all know you can't do it, and they're going to be blocking that, but people are still going to get extremely close and based on references. I think how one way a person's definitely going to bypass it, and I'm not saying this in a way for people to do it, but more or less for the companies like Google to think about this, is if somebody can upload an image and say, hey, I want you to put this character and not give it a name, and say, I want you to generate this video based on this character or this person who looks just like this. And they'll get something that looks exactly like that prominent figure, or whatever. In that kind of case, that is something that they do have to think about as well. It's not just a name thing. It is it is how they look and everything like that, their mannerisms, how they speak, the language they use, all of it. It all goes together. So I'm really curious on how they're thinking about that stuff as well, because it actually could be dangerous.
Generating prominent people. Google's video generator is so good, at least in part, because it's training its models on some videos posted to YouTube, the company recently told CNBC. It's that sheer realism of such an easy, free creation that highlights the bigger concern when this tech is used not for fun, but to push an agenda or sow confusion. Saliba pointed to this example.
I do we We're pretty much done with this. But do we as content creators on YouTube give Google consent to use our videos to train their AI? Is that somewhere? If somebody knows about that, let me know, because that's actually kind of crazy to sit here and think about, like somebody else, and like they're just using whatever videos we upload to be able to train their AI to develop more videos and things. That's kind of worrisome. I wonder where the consent part for content creators are. Maybe we automatically consent to them doing so, because if you didn't know, I believe Google does have ownership over YouTube as an entity and everything. Like YouTube has its own like directors and everything, but I believe Google is a um, really huge partner and owner, and has really big ownership inside of YouTube. But I wonder if we automatically, by uploading videos on their platform, give them consent to train their models. And the only reason I say that is because somebody cannot take your videos and upload them exactly the same to their channel, right? But how can you take our videos to train off of your AI? Even though maybe if your AI was up recreating the same exact videos, maybe that's an issue. But I'm definitely more curious on how that's all working around. But this is kind of the world that we're living in now, where you don't know what to believe, and you're gonna have to be very sharp to understand what is real and what is not, at least in this beginning phase of AI. 5, 10 years down the line, there's going to be some type of way to, kind of like how photos and everything, they have a way to track, what is it called? There's a certain thing in photos. Let me try to find one. There's a certain thing with photos where if you edit a photo, they can track like your whole like editing or information in regards to the photo. I don't want. Let me look at this info. What is it called? What is it called? I'm so like blanking right now. The only reason I know about this is because during the Johnny Depp case, they were talking about some of the photos were edited and proctored when they were uploaded to Discovery, and it's something that they use to track if stuff has been edited. But I wonder if they're gonna do stuff for these videos that come out for that are AI, or if anything generated by AI eventually would then have a mark or a disclaimer on them always. Who knows how that's going to work in the future, but there's definitely going to be some regulations around it. But let me know what you guys think. I'm really interested in what you guys have to think about how this is going to be impacting people's news, and like fake stories and things getting generated out of context. I'm actually really curious. So drop a comment down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe as well too. I really appreciate everybody who does that. If you want to send me any recommendations, send me an email at devtalkspod@gmail.com. Without further ado, peace. See you next time.